Hey, it's John from Copyblogger, and in this video, I'm going to give you a brutally honest, downright mean explanation of what it really takes to build a popular blog. And here's why. Most of what you've heard about blogging probably reads like it's from an episode of Mr. Rogers. You're led to believe your blog is a place where you're safe to express your feelings, and your friends from around the world will line up to listen to you and support you, and they'll link to it from their own blogs. Because, by God, it's just the neighborly thing to do. But the truth is that's a fairy tale. If you've been blogging for any length of time, you quickly find out that the true story is more like this. You start a blog, you write your ass off, but no one links to you, no one comments, no one tweets. Your traffic stats look like a heart attack victim. And one day, realizing no one gives a damn about who you are and what you think, you give up in defeat and let the poor thing die. And you're not the only one. The fact is, the blogosphere is littered with more abandoned blogs than active ones. And it's because it's an unfriendly, unforgiving wasteland of attention, and almost everyone who starts a blog fails. And the reason why is their whole concept of blogging is backwards. They try to build a blog from the bottom up, starting with a handful of readers who they believe will spread the word to their friends. And then eventually, a few B-list bloggers will hear about it. And they'll write a post, and A-listers will notice it, and they'll jump on the bandwagon, and before you know it, you're getting chased by publishers who want to give you a book deal, and Oprah is calling, and you're rich and famous, and you wake up every day thankful, because you started with such humble beginnings, with just those few readers, and it took on a life of its own and carried you along for the ride of your life, happily ever after, the end. It's a beautiful story. And 10 years ago, that's the way it worked. If you listen to the stories of some of the first famous bloggers, like Darren Rouse and Deuce, that's how they got started. Because once upon a time, the blogosphere was like something out of Mr. Rogers. There weren't that many people doing it, so it operated kind of like a small town, where everyone knew each other and listened to each other and talked to each other. But then something happened. The whole damn world got involved. The blogosphere went from a small town into a thriving city like New York City. And it was no longer possible for everyone to know each other because it was just too crowded. And when that happened, the model for success flipped. Instead of building your blog from the bottom up, you now have to build it from the top down. You have to start up here, or at least as high as you can get, and then depend on these people to spread the word to everyone down here. A prime example is Arianna Huffington, founder of the most popular blog in the world, the Huffington Post. Before she started the blog, Arianna wasn't a nobody. She didn't start from nothing. She was married to a senator, had her own radio show, and was a multi-millionaire. And so when she started the blog, it exploded, not just because her content was good, but because all of these powerful people she already knew talked about it. And then it filtered its way down to everyone else. And it works the same way on a smaller scale. If you look into the past of Copyblogger, you'll see that Brian wrote for ProBlogger. And in the beginning, he kind of rode piggyback. And then later, you can point to the other blogs that Copyblogger helped build, like Men with Pens and Remarkable Communication and IddyBiz. None of these bloggers started here at the bottom. They all started here in the middle, and then they worked their way down. The harsh reality of blogging is it's just like everything else. It's about who you know. If your blog is struggling and you're not getting the traffic you'd like, it probably doesn't have anything to do with your blog theme or your SEO or even your writing. It's because nobody knows who you are. The brutally honest truth is without connections, every post you write will flop, you'll never make any money, and all of the time and energy you invest in your blog will be wasted because no one will ever know you even exist. You'll just be one more person screaming for attention and getting ignored by everybody. And I realize that sounds mean, but it's the truth. And if you're going to start a blog, I believe you need to know what you're getting into. Having a Pollyanna attitude and believing everything is going to turn out hunky-dory just because you think it will is the worst mistake you can make. Because the fact is, the people who succeed in blogging proactively and deliberately cultivate connections with powerful people. The only question is how. Popular bloggers and other celebrities are practically swimming in people who want to get their attention. All of them begging, do this, do that, please, 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 now, now, now. And when you see it, it looks impossible. How are you supposed to break through all of that noise and get their attention, much less become their friend and convince them to promote you. And as you can probably guess, the answer is guest blogging. But let's talk about why. If you want to become good at something, what do? Well, that's easy, right? You find out whoever the best is, and you learn from them. If you want to open a restaurant, you get a job in the hottest restaurant in town. If you want to become a plumber, you get a job with the plumber who has more business than he can handle. If you want to be a good parent, you watch other good parents, maybe your own, maybe someone else's, and you try to learn from them. Well, blogging works the same way. If you look into the past of up-and-coming bloggers, you'll find almost all of them wrote for popular blogs. Not just because it's a marketing tactic, but because it's common sense. The best way to build a popular blog is to write for popular blogs. For one, it teaches you the craft. When you submit a post, you get feedback on your writing, where they're giving you advice on your headline and your openings and giving suggestions on revisions you can make. And that's worth its weight in gold, because this is one of the most popular bloggers in the world, and they're basically teaching you for free. For two, it gives you visibility. If you're writing for a popular blog, and your posts are getting a lot of comments and tweets, other bloggers and social media power users and gurus will start to notice you and keep an eye on you. And so when you go to them in the future to develop that relationship, the door is already open because they're already a fan. But the biggest benefit is it earns you favors. If your posts are good, if they get lots of traffic, popular bloggers will do little favors for you to keep you around. If you write a free report, they'll link to it for you. If you have a special post you think their audience might enjoy it, they'll tweet it for you. If you come out with a product, they'll promote it for you. And their support can get you more traffic and money in a day than you could earn in months working on your own. When you look at the benefits, it's a no-brainer. But at the same time, there's one gigantic problem, and we might as well talk about it now. It's freaking scary. Here you are, just a beginning blogger, and you want to write for one of the biggest blogs in the world. And it's intimidating, right? I mean, how do you pitch them without coming across as a jackass? How do you pick topics that aren't lame? How do you make sure your post doesn't flop and embarrass you in front of tens of thousands of readers? It's easy to talk about all of the miraculous things guest blogging can do for you, but most people are so terrified of screwing up that they never even get started. And let's face it, their fears are justified. For the past 3 years now, I've been the associate editor of copyblogger.com. And 95% of the people who pitch us do it wrong. And I'm not talking about just a little bit wrong here. I'm talking about catastrophic failure. Their posts are about topics that have nothing whatsoever to do with the blog. They're so nervous they ramble for like 5 pages. And their writing is so incoherent, even their own mother would be embarrassed to pin it to the refrigerator. And it's not just Copyblogger. Over the years, I've heard the same story from just about every popular blogger. They like accepting guest posts. They wish they could publish more, but there's a shortage of people who get it. People who have talent, people who are willing to work hard, and write posts that are worthy of an audience of 30, 50, or even 100,000 people. And they're right, there is a shortage, but here's the question I have for you. Do you think you have what it takes to fill the gap? Because if you do, then I want to work with you personally and train you to write for the most popular blogs in the world. Not only have I spent the last 3 years writing for them, but I'm the associate editor of one. At Copyblogger, I'm one of the people who decides whether or not a post makes it. I've been reading pitches and editing posts and coaching our writers for years. I know what people screw up, I know the right way to do it, and I know how to use guest blogging to take someone from a beginner who just started a blog to a recognized authority in the niche. Now don't get me wrong, this isn't a class for average bloggers. If you're blogging for fun, because it's like therapy to you, or you just enjoy writing, or you have so much free time on your hands, you have nothing better to do, then please don't sign up to this. It's not for you. I'm looking for people who want to be the best. I'm looking for people who know they have talent, who know they can build a popular blog. All you need is someone with the experience and connections to show you what to do. If you believe that's you, then here's my invitation. I'm holding a closed-door online class about how to write for the most popular blogs in the world. We're not talking about Aunt Millie's blog about the trials and tribulations, of old age here. We're talking about industry-leading blogs with millions of monthly page views. This is also an online interactive class where you work with me personally and we take action and get results during the class. It's not like what a lot of other people sell online, where they give you an ebook and maybe a few interviews on CD, and you have to figure out everything on your own. It's closer to a mentorship program, where every week I give you a video lesson, where I don't just tell you what to do, I show you in detail, almost like you're looking over my shoulder. Here's what we'll cover. First, we'll talk about how to find popular blogs to write for, even if you're operating in a tiny niche where there aren't any big blogs. It's easy to look at guest blogging and think, well, sure, this works for you because you're in the blogging niche, where there are tons of big blogs. But in my niche, there aren't any, so obviously this doesn't apply to me. But here's the error in that thinking. We're not targeting topics. We're targeting readers. For example, let's say you're blogging about accounting. You could do a guest post on a personal finance blog about how to use your IRA to save for retirement, the ultimate guide. You could do a guest post on a productivity blog, 7 steps to finishing your tax return in only 2 hours. You could also do a guest post on a technology blog about which tax software is the best. A CPA breaks down the pros and cons of each. None of those blogs are about accounting. What you're doing is finding the overlap between the topic and the topic of another popular blog, and then you're siphoning off readers interested in your topic. And so it doesn't matter how narrow your focus is. I've had students do this for stick figure drawings, vegetarian fitness, and even a blog entirely about growing tomatoes. And in each and every case, we've been able to find popular blogs for them to write for, no problem. I'll walk you through how to do it in the class, and if need be, I'll even get on the phone with you and personally help you find your targets. Next, I'll teach you about networking with A-list bloggers. Because the truth is, the hardest part about writing for popular blogs isn't getting them to accept your post. It's getting them to just open your email. A-list bloggers get hundreds, sometimes thousands of emails per day, and they can't possibly read it all, so they don't even try. They triage. Anyone who they know gets a reply, and everyone else gets ignored. And that applies to guest posters, too. The harsh reality of writing for popular blogs is, for the most part, they only accept submissions from bloggers they already know and respect. If they've never heard of you and you ask if you can do a post, it's like walking up to someone in the mall and asking them to marry you. It's far, far better if you build a relationship with them before you submit the post. And so in the Networking with A-list Bloggers module, that's exactly what we go through step by step. You'll also learn how to choose irresistible topics for your guest posts. If you've ever sent a guest post to a popular blog, and then you waited and waited and waited and never heard back, it's probably because your topic was just ho-hum. And they're on the fence and trying to decide what to do about it. And that's not the response you want, obviously. When you pitch your post, you want an enthusiastic, immediate yes. You want them rearranging their editorial calendar to put your post at the front of the line. And here, that's exactly what I'll show you how to do. You'll also get a collection of cut and paste emails for pitching popular bloggers. You won't have to wonder what to say. When you're writing your pitch, you'll just fill in the blank, maybe making a few tweaks to suit your personality, and then send it to them knowing in advance you're saying exactly the right things. And this isn't just the initial pitch. You get templates for following up, sending your initial draft, every situation you'll run into. I'll even give you a process map showing you when to send your emails so you can see how the whole process works from start to finish. And last but not least, I'll give you a crash course in writing posts that bring in massive amounts of traffic. This is the biggest module of the class, and it's probably the most valuable because not only will it help you score big with your guest posts, but you can use it on your own blog. Several of my students have told me just the response to their own blog posts has gone up, doubling or tripling their traffic just from that. And I'm not giving you just lightweight, run-of-the-mill tips here. You'll get a behind-the-scenes look at how I've written some of the most popular posts in the history of Copyblogger. Posts that have brought in millions of readers. And one post that many people said was the best post of 2009 in the entire blogosphere. We'll also talk about openings, closings, how to promote your posts, everything you need to write guest posts that blow people away. And remember, we're going to take action during the class. By the time you're finished, you'll be able to pull up a popular blog and see your post on the homepage. And let me tell you, it is addictive. When most popular bloggers publish a guest post, they put your email address into WordPress. So it emails you all of the comments. And the day that your post goes live, you open your email and you have like 50 unread messages with people telling you you're a genius and saying you must have known exactly what they needed to hear that day. And then you pull up Twitter and people are going nuts there. And all day long, your email is dinging you with new comments. They're talking about you every few seconds on Twitter. Famous bloggers are sending you direct messages, and you're sitting there at your computer thinking, this is it. I'm famous. I have finally arrived. And it's true, you have, at least as far as blogging goes. Once you start writing for popular blogs, you'll find popular bloggers wanting to get to know you. People stalking you on Twitter like you're a celebrity. And your blog picking up more traffic than you ever thought possible. If you're ready for that experience, if you're ready to go to the next level, then this is the class you need to sign up for. Most of the folks who've gone through it aren't just happy. They're damn near euphoric. Almost every day I get an email or a tweet or a comment with a student telling me how much the class helped them. But what's really surprising is what popular bloggers have to say about it. Darren Rouse says a lot of people contact me wanting to write for ProBlogger, but I have to say your students' ideas, pitches, and posts are some of the best I receive. Brian Clark says 9 new writers made the Best of Copyblogger 2010 list, and 3 of them were your students. That's saying something. James Chartrand for Men with Pens says, when can I get a peek inside the course? The submissions from your students have been so rock star. I want to see what you've been teaching them. And it's true. Since I started this class, I've actually had big-name bloggers emailing me to ask if they can get inside the course and see what I'm teaching. Because the posts they're getting are knocking their socks off. And so the question is, how much is that worth? Forget about the value of the relationship with the popular blogger and getting to connect with tens of thousands of people across the world, because those things are priceless. But let's talk about the hard numbers. If you were going to take a distance education class, for example, at a reputable university, it would cost you what? $5,000? $3,000? Even at a community college, you would probably spend $1,500, and you're not exactly going to be learning from the best in the business. Well, when I started this class, I thought, hell, I'm giving 3 months of instruction, over 3 hours of video lessons, monthly Q&A calls, a class forum, where you can ask me questions, and I'm even setting aside time to critique your guest posts, just like a teacher would critique your homework. And when you're done, and if I believe you're doing good work, I'll even give you a certificate, put your name on my website as one of my star students, and I'll personally vouch for you for any popular blogger in the world. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I guess that makes this class just as valuable as any distance education program you could possibly take. But here's the deal. I'm not going to charge you $5,000 or $3,000 or even the community college rate of $1,500. You can take the entire class right now for only 3 payments of $197. You're also backed up by 2 guarantees. First, there's an unconditional 30-day money-back guarantee. What that means is you can go all the way through the first whole month of the class. And if you decide it's not for you, just send me an email, and I'll send you your money back, no questions asked. You don't even have to tell me why. The second guarantee is I'll guarantee you'll have a guest post on a popular blog of your choice by the end of the program, or you pay nothing. So if you go through the entire program, and you do everything I advise you to do, but for some strange reason, it doesn't work for you, just let me know, and I'll refund your money. No questions, no delays. You get results, or you get the entire class for free. But here's the catch. Number 1, when you get a guest post on the popular blog, you agree to let me email it to everyone on my list, thereby making me look like a genius for having taught you. 2, the class starts on the 15th, and you have to sign up before then. And number 3, because of the personal attention I give you in this class, I can only take 100 students. The first time I taught it, I had 183, and it just about worked me into the grave. And so this time I'm drawing the line, only 100, and then I'm taking down the video, closing the doors, that's it. And if you're thinking, well, damn, John, I'm limiting the size of the program, making it to where I have to sign up right now, you're being awfully pushy about this whole thing. And you're right, I am. Because here's the brutally honest, downright mean truth. If you don't take action, nothing will change. This isn't a fairy tale. Your blog isn't going to magically pick up 10,000 readers tomorrow. You're not going to suddenly be noticed and recognized by all of the authorities in your niche. You're not going to discover some mystical, long-withheld secret that transforms you into a brilliant writer. This is the real world. And in the real world, it's about who you know. It's about your teachers. It's about your mentors. And as a sort of unofficial mentor to you, my job to hit you over the head, kick you in the butt, and do everything in my power to get you moving. Because let's face it, you wouldn't still be watching this video if your blog was getting the traffic you expected. You're probably watching it because you're not getting any comments, you're not getting any links, you're getting ignored by popular bloggers, and you know something needs to change, but you're not sure what it is. And the harsh reality of the situation is tomorrow, one of two things will be true. Either you'll be by yourself, trying to figure it out all on your own, or I'll be there with you, teaching you, critiquing your work, connecting you to other popular bloggers, working with you to make you a success. If you're ready for that, if you're ready to be serious about blogging, click the Add to Cart button below, and I'll see you inside.